Hi everyone and welcome along. So the bears may still be deep in hibernation, but I thought with this lovely crisp cold weather it would be a perfect time to paint a bear in a forest landscape. So grab your paints and let's get started. Okay, so let's learn how to draw a bear. Well, with most of my painting projects for animals, we start with a big old potatoey egg shape, and that's going to be the sort of the back legs and the hip and then the tummy, and then a bit more of an oval shape which is going to create the front legs. So I'm going to just join those up, come round the back and the side, and we're going to create a back leg. It's just going to sit sort of underneath that lovely round tummy, and then I'm going to create the front leg, so from this coming down, and then that tummy can sort of come in there and come up through the chest, and we'll have a big paw and another paw at the back there as well. Then just sort of coming over the head, we're going to have another rounded shape which gives us a little lump for the top of the skull, and then coming down into a bit of a snout that we can just join up there, and maybe we'll have a paw I'm doing these kind of scribbles because the claws on a bear are sort of long, and they're funny. They're longer than you think they would be on those paws. And then coming up the back of the jaw there, we'll pop a little ear, maybe one just off the back, and then just bringing an eye and a nose. And yeah, I'm rather pleased with that. You can just give it a little sort of tidy up there, but essentially starting with that shape and that shape gives you the sort of mountain range of the back of the bear. And actually let's just create a little bit of a ground here. So what I'm going to do is just rub this out a little bit, and then we can start painting. At this stage you could, if you wanted, use masking fluid to cover over your bear, because we're going to do a sort of wash around the edge on the background and create a really cool forest scene. But like I did with my chickadee bird on Tuesday in the tutorials, if you haven't seen that, I didn't use masking fluid. I just sort of went, right, let's have a practice at painting around the edge of something, and it was absolutely fine. So it's up to you really, but I'm not going to. I try to just paint in a sort of as accessible and simplistic fashion as possible. It's also, I think it's because I'm self-taught. I didn't really sort of want to use masking fluid because I was a bit scared of it for a long time. Anyway, colours. I've got Mayan Blue Genuine. This is a Daniel Smith colour, and it's sort of off the bottom of the screen here, my palette, but this is the colour Mayan Blue Genuine. I've got Sap Green, I've got Payne's Grey. I've got some quite large brushes. This is a size 12 large Pro Art. It's a fantastic brush. It's one I sell in my shop. I've also got my size 8 pointed round, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin by building up a wash around the edge of this bear, just to there, and I'm going to start to play around with colours and shapes. And what I'm going to do is take my rigger brush, and what I want to do is create pine trees. So I've done that with the rigger brush, and now I'm going to take, I've got a size 4 brush here, and working quite fast and scribbling in this colour. Sometimes, I mean, the top two I started from the top, this one I want to start from the bottom, but I might come in, just scribble. So as long as you've got that starting central line, then you don't need to do a huge amount of like neat tree. I mean, look at this, that's totally not neat, is it? Just scribble a bit at the top, and then you could sort of start to actually do something on a slightly more familiar tree branch style. But what I'm trying to do is to create a sort of wild and natural scene. It's very much a personal thing in terms of what size brush you want to use. Like, I'm going down to a slightly smaller brush here to just get around the ears. And like I say, you could use masking fluid and save yourself the trouble of potentially sticking your hand in your painting like I'm doing. But I like to give you options, and I thought what I might quite like to do, because this painting is sort of about coming out of hibernation, I have the bear sort of emerging from this forest, so I thought I might have it sort of fade off to nothing. Can you tell that I sort of create very much in the moment on these YouTube videos? I try not to over plan things, because I think, even though I am teaching obviously, I just try to be a bit fluid and open to possibilities. Okay, just a little bit more. I like that. Okay, I might pop in a few more trees at the back. And we'll let that dry, and then we can paint in our bear. That's dried really nicely, and I'm going to just get a bit of buff titanium and a little bit of moon glow, and I'm going to put a sweep of colour along the ground there, with just a little bit of shadow coming off. Maybe just scribble it down a little bit, because that's what this painting style is all about today. A little bit of dry brushing, bit of texture. Okay, so whilst that's drying, let's get our bear colours ready. So lots of browns. So we've got burnt sienna, raw sienna. I don't know if you can see that in there. There it is. This palette almost fits on camera, all of it, but we've been using all the far corners of it today. I think those will be the two key colours. We'll definitely have some Payne's Grey and some Moon Glow in there as well. So those are our two cool colours, and then we'll get some burnt sienna in there. I like to just mix up a few sort of variations in my palette, but essentially it's all about the brown tones. Could get some yellow ochre and some raw umber that also is just on the edges there. That'll be a good colour too. It's just really good to have yourself ready with colours mixed up and woken up before you launch into something like this, because we're going to paint this in quite a loose style, just like the rest of the piece. Okay, I sort of feel like a size 4 brush is probably just large enough for good coverage but small enough for control, and I'm going to dive in basically, and I'm going to paint this bear with a sense of looseness, but I also want to make sure that I'm really being thoughtful about the contours of the body, getting light and shade in there. So starting with that shoulder and maybe starting with the roundness. Just finding the roundness of the bear's body, I think, is a really good idea. So you sort of start on the edges and work your way in, and of course not forgetting where the shadows are going to fall. That's the cool thing about having this outline already painted in, is it just means that you can be quite free, quite loose with your brush, because you know you've got perimeters that you've already set. Now as I get to the head, I think I want to go down a size, and I might just lighten my colour a little bit, and also I sort of painted in just a little bit too close. There we go. So I can just paint over that. You can still get contours and details of something like a face, even when you're painting nice and loosely. It's all about using your wet colour but not sort of flooding your page with puddles, maybe having moments where you pause and let things just settle in and seep in a little bit, which is like what I'm doing right now. Just allowing that colour to dry a little bit. Okay, then I've got just some ivory black here, and I just thought it might be fun to get a little bit in there, some real darkness, and we'll get a little bit on the nose there. We'll get the eye done in a minute, but we're just biding our time, waiting, being patient for a little bit longer to let these ears have a bit of time. So now I can paint that in as well. So we'll give this one last bit chance to dry, and then I'll put a little eye in and we'll be done. So just to finish this off, we've got the eye, but also what I want to do is have a few birds just sort of flying off into the distance. I think that's quite fun. It's like everybody's waking up So what I'm doing is you'll see when I start painting, I am just creating some shapes to create some birds from. So let's see. So I've just got some Mars Black and I'm just sort of painting very loosely. Getting the wings in, getting a little body in. And just painting some very sort of simple little bird shapes as the bear wakes up and comes out of hibernation. And just a little eye there, and there we have a really nice little sort of homage to the winter turning into spring. It will soon, in the Northern Hemisphere anyway. I know you're all enjoying some lovely sunshine elsewhere, but yeah, so I really hope that you enjoyed painting that, something a little bit different. And yeah, if you enjoy painting animals, we've got a few more on the YouTube channel in the illustration playlist, but we have loads on my Patreon, and also of course in my books. Birds, Bees and Blossoms and A Year of Watercolour both have a real array of animals, insects and birds, as well as my beloved flowers. But for now, I'll say thank you so much. Thank you to my patrons for their support, because that support enables us to keep creating videos that everyone can enjoy. And of course, if you enjoyed it, then hit the like button and comment below to let me know how you got on with that one. And if you never want to miss another video, then hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell. Come join us on the channel, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye!